Hello again. Now, as you're probably all aware, I'm into the drone flying photography and videography. Now, despite the big ones that I've got, which are working ones, I like to have a play around with them as well. And for that, you need to come out of regulation and under the 250 gram range and go into the little sporty ones, like this little racer that I just got, which is a Hubsan H122D X4 Storm. That's a mouthful. Yeah, it's the Hudson Storm. That's the sound of it. It's a fast, nippy little thing. One of the good features I found about it was it's got a beep on the bottom. So when it's a distance away, because it's a small thing, it's a distance away, and you drop it in the grass, which it happens, you can find it again. Because it's going beep, 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 beep. So you can go and see it. The only trouble is, it's also burning in a cloud of smoke. We don't have dry long grass in Scotland. It's always wet. There's a little tiny circuit board in there, very close to the ground. Water gets in it, psh, it's all gone because it's still on. Might not be flying, but it's still powered up. And I know, because it happened to me. The first one I got in in the garden actually, flying it around, dropped it onto the grass. Psh, I went up and grabbed it straight away. It was gone. One motor had burnt out straight away, others were on the way out. By the time I managed to disengage it all, the circuit had gone completely. So I thought to myself, right, well, what am I going to do? Because I want to fly these things, but not in Scotland. It's not going to work, and probably not in a lot of places, except maybe a couple of weeks a year, which is no good. So what I'm going to do now is show you how to make this waterproof. Not just to be able to withstand a bit of water, but so I can put it in a vat of water underneath and it won't even lose signal. It will keep going. Take it out, shake it off, it'll go again. So long grass, bit of rain, never going to bother it again. Also, for interest, I'll show you how to strip it down, because that's what I've got to do. I'm going to take this thing absolutely to pieces. All the bits, get to the circuit board underneath and make the whole thing waterproof, including all the batteries. Now, what's in, we'll strip it to bits. Now, the first thing you need to do is get yourself some containers so you can keep things separate. What I like to do, because you've got unusual screws in the propellers, because you've got a left and right-handed thread in the propellers, I like to keep the propellers and their screws together separately, away from everything else. Then have another container for all the screws, another container for all the components that come out. Okay, so we start with the propellers. Now remembering, A are anti-clockwise, B are normal. So removing A, tighten. Okay, so like I said before, keep them separate. You know what them screws are for then. Next, remove all other items, starting with this, just a camera. Screws into one box. There is only two sizes of screws, apart from these ones that I'm taking out now and the propeller ones. These ones look like the propeller ones because they've got the flat washer on top. That just pops off. You shove it in the box. Next one to do is get rid of each motor. Now the motor is only attached by two little screws either side. Undo them, this comes off, that slides out and unplugs from there. It is as simple as that. Now these screws are slightly longer than the rest of the body mount screws, so they're easy to differentiate between the two. And there, as I say, that pops out. Put into there. Then you see, there's your motor. Slide the motor out and unplug it. Now unplug it carefully, don't be damaging this. Right, now remembering your motors as well, when you're looking at the front of the drone, it's simple. At the front, look at it A, B. That's it. So that black is B. Keep it separate. So got to go back in the right way around. You don't bring the wrong way around, it will fly backwards or something strange. Okay, do this for all 4 of them. Okay, next thing I do, turn it over and remove all the screws from underneath. That's the way I do it. Now you've got 4 silver ones. Remember where they come from. Or rewatch this video and you'll see where they come from. They're the only different ones in the box. Well, I don't think these are necessary because they're part of the visor. It's just part of the light system at the front. Right, and then next, at the front, you've got a screw at the bottom there and a screw at the back there. You need to remove them both sides. I've still got that motor in place. You're probably all screaming at me about that. Why have I left that motor in place? I don't know. I forgot to take it out. Right, okay. There, motor's gone. Right, turn it round and the last 2 screws. 2 this side and we're done with the screws. Then it's all a case of unclicking it. Open the back, take that off. Be a little bit gentle as you're doing. Now then. We can slide this bottom plate forward and then the sides will come out. So like that. And then the sides need to be slid forward there as well. Like that. Can't get that out. Oops, out. And that one. That's it, that's out. So. Right, so there we have the 2 sides. Scary this, isn't it? There, you can put that back in again. You didn't need to come out that. The base. Take this piece off. Oh, let's stick on a bit of glue there. Take that piece off and leave the rest as it is. Okay, now we have 2 systems we have to perform here. One is a varnish. Comes in a pack like this, costs you about £20. But it saves you a fortune. Now this, a varnish type product, it is silica based and will not affect any contacts, any signals. But it will totally waterproof it all. So you don't need to worry about that. But it puts a coating over things. So the things like where you've got the SD card, where you've got the plugs for the motors to go in, where you've got this USB socket, you want to avoid them with this. We'll come back to them later. Same with your plugs, your camera cables, all the other little ancillary bits, the motors themselves, which all need protecting. We don't want to do it with this varnish. What we're going to use for that is Corrosion X. And this stuff is a thick gloopy stuff. You can actually, if you wanted, pour this into a container and dunk this in. But to what I've heard, you need to do it every few months. So to me, that's not viable. To do the whole board every few months. This stuff, permanent. You can remove it with hot iron if you wanted to solder anything like that. So that's not going to cause a problem that way. But you don't need to redo it anymore. That is a one-off time. So now what we're going to do is varnish that board. Both sides, not on any of the plugs, so avoid all plugs, SD card holder, etc. Protective gloves. The stuff does have a caution about irritation to skin, but it's wise anyway, saves you having to wash your hands. Right, okay, so now I'm working on a mat so as to keep the stuff off of my table. We're going to just simply coat everything. Let it swim around. Like I said, avoid plugs, sockets, SD card, etc. Because it'll coat over the top of them. Now the camera is plugged in and it's going to stay plugged in, so I'm coating over that plug because we don't ever intend on unplugging it, so it'll act as a shield unit. Turn over, do the other side. Now this is the side that's got the two plugs, the 4 plugs you need to avoid. A little metal box here, it's got seams, make sure you coat them, run over it all. Do not do inside the beeper. Now the plugs, I'm doing the outsides of them, where the connections are, I'm just not doing insides them. Right, now that is it. That is all now coated and stinky. I'm now going to leave it for that to cure a little bit. Then we'll come back with the other liquid and work on second stage, which is that one. Right, now it's all nice and dry as that varnish that I put on. So the next thing is with the corrosion X is to start carefully coating the areas that have not been coated with the varnish. That is the SD card, the USB plug, the 4 plugs for the motors, the battery connector. Let's have a look at the back of the, it's well sealed. The back of the camera is well sealed, we don't need to touch that. Right, so all we're going to do is you just literally gloop a bit in, like that. So take the plug, gloop a bit in there, gloop a bit in the back of it and let it run in. That's it. Same again, that plug, that plug, that plug, that plug, that plug, and the SD card. There we are. Right, now just shake it all back out again and wipe it back off again. Especially the SD card, we don't want that transferring to the actual SD card itself, though it doesn't affect the contacts. I've not actually tried recording anything on one yet, but it says it's 100% non-affected by it, so no, I suppose we've got to take its word for it and try it and see what happens. Okay, so that there is nicely done on inside the sander as well, just a little bit. Now we have, let it go in, let it come back out again. There. Okay, that's done. Now then, the motors in the top and around where the wires are. So, little loop in there, let it go in. Spin it, spin it, spin it, that's good. And in the back, good. And the plug itself, there we are. Okay, and then wipe it off. Do that with all 4 motors. The batteries, again, you've got the plug at one end that he's doing, and then where the wires go into the battery itself, you want to just squirt it on there and let it run down them cables. That will help insulate it inside there. And again, wipe it off. Once it's on, wipe it straight back off again. You're not going to get it all off, and don't try and get it all off, but just absorb the bulk. They're done. Let's do all the rest. Okay, now I'll just do the rest of it. Okay, before we go anywhere else, I'm now going to just connect the battery up and start this up. Well, not start it up, but check everything is still connecting up there and get it to the beep. Once it gets to the beep, you know things are working. Connected. Oh no, now we have it. Okay, good. Right, so that's good. They go downwards. This strap goes underneath this plate. That's the front. Like so. There, like that. Right, click it all together. Now these are already in, go on the inside of the things, and then the bottom plate clicks into them. And this has got to click and slide into the bottom. So you need to get them in before you let that click into place there, or you'll not click it in. Very fiddly, but got to be done. Right, once they're in, then you can let the front click into place. And all click into place there. Right, we're in. Right, we're in. And the back piece into place there. Get all the plastic bits clipped into place, and then it's not too bad. This has got to go in the front here. This should have gone in first, but it only keeps falling out when you do. That's it, it's in. I get them back in place. There we go. Nice. Right, okay, good. Right, everything is now back together as it should be. Now we just need to put all the screws in. Now remember, you've got 4 silver ones in here to start with. Put them in first. The thin ones go into the circuit board. So they're going to them brass lugs there. So that's what they're for. Right, and then we're working now on all the short black ones. They're not that much shorter, but they are shorter. Because you should leave 8 long ones. A little bit longer. There for the motor mountings. Fiddly little screws still. Right, now we need to put the camera in place. No, not yet, we don't need camera in place yet. But right now you've got 2 screws on each side, one there, and same on the other side, one there. The top screws are for the camera, so don't put them in there. It's the bottom one there and the top one there. Get them forming. These front ones can be quite fiddly because there's 3 pieces to move. And getting them lined up can be a bit of a pain. Right, next we click the camera into place, which is reasonably easy. Into that side, into that side. Shroud over. Now the shroud does have little clippers there and there that click into place on the back of it. So you've got to aim it and line it up and then let that click into place. So make sure the punt's in place first. And then just bring it down. Yeah, that's it. Not easy. Fiddly bits of plastic. Right, we should now be left with 4 motors, 4 protector cowls and 8 screws. That's it. Now then, these have a left and a right. To have that slopey bit. So that's that side, that's that side. So do these. That's that side, that's that side. Okay, now remember what we said? Black is B and black and B is that side. So that one will be that side. And cross them over for the back. There. A, B. A, B. Right, when I'm putting these in, what I like to do is first off put the plug in. Now you shouldn't be seeing the wire. See there you can see the connectors. You don't want to be. So the connectors are going to be downwards. Aim them and push them in. Now if you've got a little prodding tool, ideal. Push it. And it's clicked into place. It won't come out. Then what I like to do is lay the wire flat to that slot that you've got there, where the wire goes down, and let the wire go down there and feed it in the hole underneath the motor. It takes up the excess because on the front ones in particular, you've got a lot of left wire. Now be careful when you push them in. You don't want to be straining that wire, yeah, crimping it or anything like that. You just want it to be drifting down before the motor does. A bit of a twist here. I'll put you in there. Don't go down like that. Then put your cowling on, making sure the wires are clear. It's this side here where the wires won't be. Push them over. And let the cowling click into place like that. See? You might find it fiddly the first time, but you'll get used to it. That screw looks a little bit small. I think I put a long screw somewhere where I shouldn't have done. Oh, I don't think it'll matter. I hope. Okay, we'll do back one. Right, opposite colour again. Connectors downwards. Got a little lug on it that clicks into place and it's on the bottom. Let the wires flat, let it sink down. The back's easy because the wires are a lot shorter because the travel is a lot longer. Using a little tool to just make sure the wires stay out the way. You don't be trapping the wires in that. Just a very logical, simple little system really. Okay, right, repeat the same process at the other side. Okay, now, it's also a good time to consider replacing the propellers, which I will do. They're cheap enough. And you get the best performance out of them in a set of blades. Now, I've noticed also, what I didn't notice before, is actually on this moulding, it's got the letters AB, AB on there. So, now then, putting these on, I find, give it a little spin, it'll drop on, because it's got a flat lug on it, so it's difficult to get on there, but that holds it square, so it's good. Now putting the screws on, because they're so little and fiddly, this is what you do. Lift it back off a little tiny bit. Now this is alternate, so we're going to be undoing this one, and drop it in like that. Hold the propeller blade and then start winding the screw in. And it just helps you hold it, that's all. That's it. Do that with all of them and your job's done. And the last one, there we are, straight on. Okay, lift it up, let it drop in. Reverse one. And that is a little baby back together again. And our machine waterproof. Okay, good. And now the key test. Let's get it into water and see just how it handles and if it is actually waterproof. Now, when I first spun the motors to get them started, it seems the oils that we put in there is quite thick, gloopy stuff, so it does tend to let the motors a little bit slow. So let it sit and run for a little bit first before you take off after you put that oil in. Otherwise you're going to be losing power from it. Okay, let's turn the programmer on, plug this in and check. It's waiting for signal. And it is connected. So there, we've got connection. Let's just fire it up first to make sure everything's running okay. And you hear? Sweet sounding motors, aren't they? Because of the oil, it's extra quiet now. Now then, but what's it going to be like after, what's the lights? I do this. Lights are still on, no smoke. That's a good sign. Okay, we've got a bit of extra power there initially, but and I think we can say that's a success. So I'm not going to start it flying inside it, but you can see the lights were still on. It wasn't flashing, so I hadn't lost signal. It still had signal under the water. Battery, everything. Nothing has been affected by that water going in there. Now remembering to do each battery separately. Otherwise you'll swap over the battery, think it's waterproof, the battery won't be. But otherwise, that's a successful waterproof drone. Now we can take it out in the rain without worry.